Welcome to Conversations with Cubit. Thank you for joining me tonight, and thanks for supporting these weekly conversations. Maybe, just maybe, it's your first time joining these conversations. And well, if it is, welcome to the family. And yes, I consider you family. My team and I are excited that you found your way here. And by the way, we love getting all the words of encouragement that I find in my inbox every week. So keep those coming. They mean a lot to me. My team and even our guests who join me each week really love to get that positive feedback. Be sure to check out some of my past conversations by heading over to my YouTube channel. Just look up Conversations with Cubit. And once you get there, please subscribe and hit the like button, please. After that, browse all of the past conversations you want to. You will not be disappointed. They're all really good conversations. But right now, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to share tonight's conversation. If you have ever had questions about leadership or decision making, tonight is made just for you. Please don't keep this conversation to yourself. Share it with your community. So hit the share button or start a watch party, whatever you got to do to get the word out. Now, for right now, let me give you a special shout out to Richard and Amy James for giving these weekly conversations a home out here at Green Pasture Studios. It's in far northeast Oklahoma City, Spencer, Oklahoma area. Green Pasture Studios are in the movie making business. I mean, full-fledged movie production, commercials, and even a training academy out here. They actually teach people of all ages how to work in the film industry. It's really cool stuff going out here. We're sitting in the grand room right now where they just broke down a sound stage. So look them up. You'll be glad you did. Now, let me share with you my very simple goals for these weekly conversations. It's only 3. 1, I want to add value to people and my community. 2, I want you to believe in what people can become when we're willing to work together. And 3, just love people, period. All that means is I want you to be inspired, and I want you to get useful information and resources, and I want to celebrate individuals, groups, and organizations who are making a positive impact on our community. Every conversation will be about information, inspiration, and hope. Joining me tonight is an influential community leader, speaker, executive coach, author, pastor, one of my favorite people here in Oklahoma City. His name is Rodney Payne. He's here with me today, y'all. Rodney is the current pastor of the Bethlehem Star Baptist Church, but this man is so gifted and so talented, leading a church is not enough. He also hosts a podcast. He travels the globe speaking, teaching, and coaching. And not only that, he has found time to author, I believe, 3 or 4 books now. So instead of reading off his bio, which would just dry me all up in typical fashion like I normally do, I want to give Rodney the opportunity, some bullet points here. And I'm gonna give you some bullet points, and you can just fill in the gaps with whatever your personal and professional life that you want to from your background that made the leader and the influential leader that you are today. You ready for this?
No, sounds like a setup.
It is a setup. It is a setup, but I knew you can handle it. I've done this once or twice before, and it does trip people up. Okay. It does trip people up, right. But if it doesn't trip you up,
I feel like I've stumped the chump or something.
Yes, yeah. So I've gone a little bit into your background.
Okay.
Like cops do, but I'm not a cop anymore. Okay. Maybe.
Not enough.
Okay, so here's bullet point number 1.
Okay.
High school. What comes to mind?
I went to 4 different high schools in 3 different states, and the biggest thing for Oklahoma is I'm a state champion football player, Midwest City Bombers, 1985. Mike Gundy was the quarterback. Ooh. Bomber pride, Bomber tradition, Bomber fourth quarter. Bombers ready? Let's go.
Enough said. Moving on. Enough said. Okay, parents.
My mom is the baby of 11. My dad's the oldest of 6. And my dad played pro football. And my mom can sing.
That I didn't know. Where did you play?
Dad played professionally, went to Langston, same team as Thomas Henderson, 11-0, and he played for the Green Bay Packers and for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Whoa, okay, so you had to play high school football.
I didn't have to, but I loved it.
You had to play.
I loved it. Still love it. Still smell the grass in the fall.
All right. Corporate America.
Corporate America. Challenging. I did over 25 years in corporate America. and I was a lot of first. And so did it the hard way, came for the rough side, grinded it out, found much success, and it afforded me a great privilege of taking care of my family well.
Okay, all right. We'll talk a little bit more about that, I'm sure, as the conversation goes on. Golf.
Golf, it's the most humbling game ever for an athlete. I ran track, I played football, basketball, baseball, and this little bitty ball that I should be able
That
to
sits
hit,
still.
it doesn't move.
There's no defense.
Whatever. It's so frustrating. I love it, but I understand my limitation is my game. I just love to play.
You love to play. All right. We have not played, but maybe once.
Right.
We probably need to play again. Okay.
I'm not as good as you.
I'm not that good.
You don't take the hacks out of
I'm
the
not that
course.
good.
It's okay though.
All right. So let's go. The call to preach.
Most frightening thing of my life. I felt it early on and did everything to suppress it. I have cousins that tell me I told them that I would preach when I was 13. I don't recall that, but at least 4 or 5 years before I did.
Okay, so it came early.
26 years.
So you're a leader. You're in front of a lot of people all the time, but there's ways there's things that have to keep leaders grounded. What's childhood memories that keep you grounded?
My grandmother, my grandfather, my grandparents. My grandmother, one of them said, every tub has to sit on its own bottom. So there was always
every tub
has to sit on its own bottom.
Okay, break that one down, preach.
Basically, what she was saying is that you have to take care of yourself. You have to have a foundation of your own. You don't get to ride the coattails of someone else. I didn't understand it until I was an adult. But she said every tub, and I walk around saying, I thought everybody knew what it meant. Nobody knows what it means. But it means that you have to have your own foundation. And you have to be the leader of one. You have to lead yourself.
Ooh, I'll carry that one. I'll carry that one. I'll carry that bucket of water.
That's it. Uphill both ways.
All right, wife and kids.
My life, my purpose, my why. And grandkids, don't forget
grandkids.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Have 3 of those.
How many? 3, okay.
2 boys and a girl.
And you got 2 daughters.
2 daughters,
yes.
2 sons-in-law. My family is why I wake up every day, stay up all day and half the night and don't feel bad about it. I don't need anything else. Everything I do is so they have a legacy for them. They are my life.
Ooh, that'll preach. That'll preach.
Yeah.
What, baby, if you're watching, what he said. I say the same thing.
That's it, use it, man.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. 90 days of believing God.
A man's version of giving birth to a child. That's my first book. It took me 7 years to do it. It was the most grueling process of getting it done. I knew I was supposed to do it, didn't know how to do it, made all kinds of excuses, and God still said, write the book. And so it came out in a perfect time, perfect way, and it showed me that God can do whatever he wants to do in me.
That's book number 1, and we're now on book
3.
3.
Yeah.
Okay, I said 4 earlier.
Yeah.
Book number 3.
But 4 started, though.
4 has already started.
Yes.
Whew. So I don't know where you find the time. Maybe I need to sign up for a coaching class.
Gap band,
to help
early
me.
in the morning. Early in the morning.
That's good. All right, so let's get into the conversation a little bit here.
Okay.
But before we get into the conversation, I was trying to figure out when you and I first met. I've been knowing you, feels like forever.
Right.
Feels like forever. But I know I was doing community engagement. I was doing the FACT program. Chief City was the chief, several other players, but your church, if I remember right now, your church was honoring or celebrating me and some other military and law enforcement people and law enforcement in general at your church. And I remember that because that didn't happen on the east side. That didn't happen on the east side my whole career until then, and then recently people start acknowledging the difficulty of the job, the task of the job, and the need for the job, even though everybody doesn't agree with how it's done, right? That kind of thing. Talk to me. Am I right though?
Yeah. So I'm trying to place it because we've been doing it for a very long time. We are a church with a military background. So we do a Veterans Day celebration annually, and we acknowledge our veterans, and sometimes we will include first responders. And so what we did was we decided to look at things that were being done in the community by our law enforcement. It's no secret the challenges that we have, and we talk about community policing, and we learned about hotspot policing, but you don't probably know this, but whenever you would come around, you never sugarcoated it. You asked it both ways and kept it straight down the middle. From that we can grow. So you had done something specific, a program you were leading or something that had a lot of impact in the community. And so our job, I believe our job, is to facilitate blessed communion, relationship, and fellowship. And we can't do that fighting with everybody. Everybody didn't mess up. I mean, every preacher didn't mess up, but some did. Every plumber
right.
didn't mess up, but some did.
Right.
Every law enforcement officer didn't mess up, some did.
Yeah.
And so our passion and compassion is because we know what the office holds. So we obviously developed a strong relationship, and now we consider ourselves partners with Oklahoma City Police Department in particular, but we work with other organizations as well.
Yeah.
Today.
I do remember, now that you mentioned that, I do remember your church inviting me in to speak to the youth.
Yeah.
And it was about gangs and the dangers of gangs and that kind of thing. And I had to tell the parents some hard truths about parenting.
Absolutely.
That church. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember them being shocked that I would say what I said.
But you talk about conversations.
Yeah.
We've had female officers come in on various task force that you're aware of and talk about trafficking. And we have these conversations. We talk about internet crimes. We talk about how our kids get sucked in, and we do that thing. You have the FACT and PAL and all the various programs. So my goal is to get my kids, you guys have brought cars out, you brought to chopper, you bought all kinds of things, but I want you to be able to see the back seat of a car as a guest touring it, not as someone being transported, not this being your Uber, your transportation.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. So, and my whole point of bringing that up when I was thinking about it is it really shows you as a leader, not just of your church, but in the community, is because you're leading what you feel like should be happening community-wide, not just in the pews at your church.
If I have an emergency, I'm going to call 911. I'm going to expect you to show up and save me. If I am speeding and you are sitting in a speed trap, I'm going to want you to go to find and work on some real crime and not catch me in a speed trap, right?
Right.
But you can't have it both ways.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we have one young man who wants to be a law enforcement officer, and you're a part of the reason why, because you and Sergeant Huff and others would be there. And the other thing is that when you guys come to our church, we have the service, it's called Better Together. This is a service where no law enforcement is honored. You're asked to come in and sit amongst the congregation and just worship with us. It was over, we took pictures, we hung out, and the kids had a great time. That's what I believe it's about. If we're going to get better, how do you have community policing when nobody qualified, when you're already disqualified from being an officer by the time you're 15, and you don't know that?
Right.
Somebody has to tell you. And so our goal is really just to appreciate, integrate, associate, fellowship, and grow together.
Yeah. So now that meeting, of course, now, and I found out that my church and your church and my pastor and you, they're all, we're just all in the community together. So it's been a real thing. And I find out, much not to my surprise, is that your thing is leadership. And we talk about it in passing all the time, is everything rises and falls
on leadership.
Leadership.
That's John C. Maxwell.
And we love John C. Maxwell together. So we tell stories. We finish his sentences together, his quotes there. So tell me about how you decided or discovered that not only were you going to be a leader of a church or an organization, but this is the lane that you were going to go down. You were going to be the leader of leaders, the leader's coach, the executive coach, the mentor of leaders.
Yeah.
How did you decide? Because it's going to be hard for you to be the coach of me when I think I know how to lead.
Well, so the first thing, before we get going further, this is the first thing.
Yeah.
What's the one thing that Michael Jordan had his entire playing career?
He had a coach.
And he could beat all of them.
Yes.
But he couldn't win without the right one.
There you go. Simple.
Everybody needs a coach. I have a coach. I wouldn't have a coach who doesn't have a coach. And I don't know who you are, if you know everything. That is not my lane. So you asked me how it truly discovered is probably the better thing. I've lived my life as a leader not knowing it was leadership.
That's right.
My entire life. I go into a room, and some people would suggest to you that I talk a lot. My mom would say I was born talking. Everybody else will tell you I've been speaking my whole life. Well, my first public speaking event was an East Zion District Boy of the Year competition back when I was 13 years old. One time I was in it, and I won it. And so that's the speaking side. But if I'm in a room, I'm a great follower. I will follow you if you're leading. If you're not leading, I'm like, so where are we going? You don't have an answer? I'll say, well, let's, it just came out that way.
Right.
So I had a natural influence that God gave me that when I'm in a room, that's what happens. So I'm on my job. This is in my job, in my profession. When I'm working with a bank, I worked in a bank for 25 years. I'm a salesperson. Make money by running my mouth.
Goes
Perfect.
talking, salesperson, kind of adds up.
Well, but here's what happened. We're in a room full of salespeople at a national training. Salespeople, everybody in the room, they talk. That's what they do. We're in this room, and we get together, and this is about the time American Idol first came out. And they say, do a project. Then you get a spokesperson for the group, and you go up in front of your peers. They were all scared. Come on, man. I'm from Spencer, Oklahoma. We don't get scared. Whatever, let's go.
You're from Midwest City, sir.
I'm from Spencer. I grew up east of here, sir.
Okay.
Let's tell the truth. I graduated in Midwest City. I grew up in,
okay, I don't want to fight with you about
I'm
that.
y'all check the comments. I'm from Dungee. Talk to me. Now, how about that? Yeah, so, sir, I get up on this stage, and I do a presentation. It's really not a big deal to me. My boss's boss came to me and said, you're in the wrong role, and pulled me and put me in management. So I started leading then. Still don't know how to lead. I'm not trained.
Right.
I have
What do you call a guy that's leading with nobody following? Just a guy taking a walk.
He's out for taking a walk. He's not leading, but anybody following you ain't going nowhere.
He's just taking a walk,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, right, exactly.
So from that moment, I began to understand, and begin to work at it. And then I had a chance to be in a ministry situation, and someone talked about spiritual gifts. So they talked about spiritual gifts. Leadership is one. I redlined, pinged it, and all that. And so at that point, what I learned about spiritual gifts is this: God gives them, but it's up to you to develop them and mine them. And so from that time until this time, I developed leadership in me every day.
Right, and it's something you have to work at.
I work at it every day.
Think about it, talk about it, read about it,
Sleep on it, whatever.
all of that stuff. Right. When you're working with new leaders, and I imagine we probably have some new leaders who are going to watch this, people that are leading and don't really recognize that that's the language that need to be identifying themselves by.
Right.
What are some common flaws that you see over and over and over, common mistakes that new leaders make over and over and over?
They don't know themselves. You cannot lead anybody well until you know yourself. You have to, and by know yourself, we all have a certain wiring, a certain bent. If you don't know yourself, the things that are normal to you are offensive to others. So you cause harm, not because you're intending to. You ever been around somebody and people say, oh, that's just the way they talk. They're saying that, but that person's really offending everybody. If you don't know that, you can't guard against it. And so now you're ineffective as a leader, not because you don't know what you're doing, because you don't realize what you're saying is offensive in the way that you deliver it. So you start with knowing yourself. And I mean know yourself intimately, and grow your strengths, mitigate your weaknesses, grow your strengths. You can only move your weaknesses marginally. Your strengths you can move exponentially.
Yeah, and you don't motivate. You talk about American Idol. You don't motivate someone to sing when they can't sing.
Listen, know your lane.
Right, that's not your gift.
Know your lane.
You're just making them suffer, but more than that, somebody has to listen to that mess.
It doesn't matter. I know your mother said, baby, you can sing. Your mama was not telling you the truth, sweetie. Just, you know if you can sing. You know when you listen to somebody who can sing, and you know what you sound like. Just be honest. But seriously, if you don't know yourself, I am a very, very confident person. I don't say anything to be confident. I don't walk around and say, hey, I'm confident. But people tell me when I walk in, they see it. Well, I'm not looking to show it. So what I have to do is work to bring that down, because if you're overconfident,
It's cocky.
It's cocky, it's arrogant, and it's intimidating.
Right.
So you have to work to bring that back down, and I'm just being me.
And people tell you in so many different ways, if you just have to be open to listening to it. And if you hear it multiple times, everybody ain't lying to you.
If everywhere you go you hear the same thing, you're not meeting a bunch of people that are broken.
That's so good. Listen, like that's another key part of leadership, right? I'm sure you'll talk about that.
Yeah, if you can't hear you can't lead.
Right. Okay, what's the big mistake people with leadership titles make before they actually move into the position? And here's what I mean. I feel like people actually get titles, much like what you just described, before they know they have a responsibility, right? So, and there's a lot of damage can be done between the title and the actual leadership role taking effect. Am I making sense? Maybe that's a bad question.
No, positions and titles are the death of leadership.
Okay.
Because we look at positions and titles as privilege, not as responsibility. I try to explain to people that as a leader, you are accountable. I'm gonna use a different word for accountability because we all have a general definition. You're answerable. You have to give an answer for what you do. I don't care what position you hold on the food chain. You're responsible, you're accountable, and you're answerable. And many leaders are permanently damaged because they're prematurely put in positions because of their availability, not their education, not their capacity, but they're available. Their consistency. They're always here. Always being here does not mean you're a leader. It means you're consistent. So what happens is we put people in leadership positions who are not leaders. And there's a big difference between leading and managing.
Yeah.
Managing, I give you the list, I give you the task, I give you the outcome, you go say, okay. Leaders see it first.
Yeah,
Leaders
the
anticipate.
average leader or the manager can direct people.
Absolutely.
They can direct people.
That's what they can do.
Yeah, yeah. But the next level up would be they would be able to not only direct, but explain.
Direct, explain, but leaders influence.
Influence.
You move differently.
Yeah.
When you're a leader will change your behavior, not because they said change your behavior.
They inspire.
Leadership is influence. Leadership causes you to respond, causes you to move. Somebody has to say we can take this hill, and you got to believe when they say it.
Is it? Maybe this is an observation. Now I didn't get this from John C. This is just an observation that I'm thinking. You tell me if I'm right or wrong, or I'm on the right track or not.
It's gonna be fun.
But is it just by observation, the person that should be leading is usually running away from that responsibility? I'm like, this guy, but that person, like, come here, I need you to do this. Like, no, I'm good. They run from the responsibility until it just they're leading.
Yeah.
They don't want the title.
I would say they don't run from leadership. They run from the mess around leadership.
Maybe but it's easy to identify them, right? Because they're the ones.
Leaders can't hide.
They can't hide.
Leaders cannot hide. No, sir.
They can't hide. I'm like, why don't you put in for that supervisor? Nope.
Because I don't want to deal with you all.
Nope. I don't want to do it.
I'm not dealing with the politics, not dealing with this, not dealing with that. But
look, everybody's coming to you.
But watch this.
Everybody's doing this. This shift, this place runs how you decide it runs. Why don't you get paid?
Well, because I'm happy to get the job done and the influence without the responsibility of dealing with the part that I don't like. Because unfortunately, leadership, organizational leadership, comes with organizational restrictions, organizational politics. So you're not free to lead.
How do we deal with this? Because we need, if we're going to change the dynamic of organizational dynamics, that person has to be at the table to change it.
Well, you have to change at the top of the table. At the top of the table, what you said earlier is, how can you train me as a leader when I know I'm a good leader? That's your problem.
That's the problem.
You're a good leader.
Yeah.
And for where you want to go and where your organization needs to go, it requires a great leader.
Man. All right. We can go on and on. Y'all, I'm good. We can drive to California and have this conversation.
Let's go.
So I really want to know, because what intrigued me and invited you here today is your new project.
Okay.
Critical decision making.
Yeah. So my newest book is Critical Decisions Made Easy.
Critical
Decisions Made Easy. Now, here's the thing. Critical Decisions Made Easy was not a project that I said, let me go figure out how to make decisions. The project came as a result of a lifelong process of doing things and training people and coaching people and making decisions. I can truly remember an instance when my older daughter, Danielle was wanting, they went to a dance school. Mm-hmm. And then at the dance school, they did cheer and pom and dance and tap and all these different kinds of dance. And then she had her school, they had tryouts for cheerleading. And so she was faced with the critical decision of, do I want to do cheerleading at my school or continue my dance at my dance school? Because my daddy said he ain't paying for both. So it's critical. This is a critical decision. She literally, I gave her a sheet of paper. I said, I write out the pros here, write out the pros here. And so the beginning of critical decisions were made easy was started when Danielle was in 7th grade.
Yeah.
And so at that point, and it's been like that throughout my life. And so one day I got the inspiration to put this in I coach people. I coach professionals. They make $1 million decisions based on this process. I have people who are in homes, they make $10,000 decisions on this. I have some who make $5 decisions, it doesn't matter, but they've used this process and it's always been there for me. But the book is the time to put it together, and I found out that people have problems making decisions.
Right. What is it the consequence that freezes people up? Is it what freezes, because I've noticed people that really labor.
Yeah. There are phases and stages, right? Uh-huh. And it really depends on knowing yourself. So what stops you may not stop me. Mm-hmm. See, me, I'm like, make the decision. If it's wrong, regroup, and let's go again. Regroup, reload, move. Some people make a bad decision, I'm done. So people get stuck in various places. I think one of the biggest challenges with most people making decisions is that, notice the title of the book is Critical Decisions Made Easy. I'm not trying to help you make every decision, because every decision isn't critical. And every decision doesn't require your full attention. There are things that you can do to keep that kind of stuff off of your desk. But critical decisions, first step is identify them. What are they? And when you do that, if you're willing to do that, now you have to invest in the process. And people don't have a process. Most people make decisions based on their gut.
Right, emotions.
How it feels. Well, my emotions are not stable enough to be making decisions. I'm sorry, I need that. I gotta have something a little more stable.
About it.
Because
Tell me about it.
If I'm mad, I'll make a decision that creates other problems. So that we make decisions based on our gut, and we don't know how to put a process in place. So that's the book. The book is going to teach you how to put a process in place. But what I love about the book the most is the process that you build will work in every area of your life. So no, it's not it doesn't matter.
Personal, professional,
business decision, a purchase. It doesn't matter.
Because I need them on purchases.
See, because the thing is that when you make a decision, what I'm going to help you to do is understand how to manage or measure a decision against you, not against another decision.
How do you? So for me, for men, I don't feel like my decisions are just for me to make. I think my decisions impact my family. Mm-hmm. My wife, how she's in my critical decision making. How much do I include her? How much I'm thinking about her, but how much do I include her in this process?
Include her to a point that you won't pass the buck and blame her for the decision. The decision maker must own the decision. Don't pass the buck. So if I'm leveraging, I talked to Cubit and he said, and so now you're responsible for my failure. No, sir. No, own your decision.
Leadership, though. Yeah, that's leadership. Yeah, but
what is decision making? It's leadership. Yeah. If the buck stops here, now what? So I tell people that engage. It's unwise not to seek wise counsel.
Right.
But you can't make. As a coach, I don't make decisions for people. I hold you accountable to a process to do what you want to do, but it's ultimately your decision to make. And you're going to be, that word I taught you earlier, answerable for the decision. You don't get to pass the buck. So in a marital situation, now, I don't know if you know this, but I've done marriage ministry since 1999.
I know,
so that's my passion.
I've talked to.
So when you talk about getting involved in a marital decision, your decision-making process is only as strong as your relationship. You don't get to decide today we're going to change how we make decisions. I got 32 years in. We know how to make decisions in my house.
Right.
She wants it. I say, okay, life goes on. It's good.
That's decision made.
I believe that's the best benefit for me.
Right.
Is if that worked. So she says,
I've been in this for 30 years. I think I know that process.
I'm just saying, you can make it harder.
I probably should write a book on that process.
They told me, a wise man once told me, and he said, I always get the last word in arguments with my wife. So he says, yes, ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am, I'm done. But that's the key. So if you don't ever, when you're in a position to make the decision, do never put yourself in a position to pass the buck.
Yep. You said something a little while ago about emotions, and it dawned on me that I have a guy on my team who just went through an emotional experience, and my conversation and text messages with him, he had all of these ideas. I think I'm gonna do this, I think I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. What do you think if I do this and do that? And so I just called him and I said, hold on. I don't think you make any of these decisions while you're emotional.
That's in the book.
Just let's not consider any of this while you're emotional.
You cannot make the best decision for you when you are emotional. And you have to know that.
Yeah.
And so if you don't put that as a part of your process, I'm going to teach you in the book. I say that. Emotional decisions, we don't make decisions when we're emotional, because I get to live with the result of the decision, good, bad, traumatic, whatever. I intensify it, it multiplies, whatever. So I don't make decisions when I'm emotional, because emotional, the answer is no when it should be yes. It's stop when it should be go. It's fight when it should be, be a peace.
It's amplified.
Absolutely.
The way I consider it is like, I remember you I don't know if you came that far toward the city since you was way out here in Dungey.
We didn't pass
I don't
Douglas.
know if you, but back in Oklahoma City, we had this amusement park called Spring Lake, and they had a ride called the Big Dipper, and little kids couldn't wait till they were big enough to get on the Big Dipper. And soon as I got the height, I wanted on the Big Dipper. But soon as it hit the first thing, I wanted off the Big Dipper because it was crazy.
It's too late.
But I was emotional.
Yeah, it's too late.
And what I decided was that as bad as I wanted off this thing, I wasn't getting off till it stopped.
But you couldn't get off till that's the other. Emotion got you on there.
Right.
Ooh,
right.
That's exciting. Ooh, I want to be on.
But
that's what got you.
My decision to get off the ride had better happen when it stops. And so that's how I describe decision making. If you're still in the middle of all that emotion, just let it stop first before you decide to make a move.
And let me give you just a little. Let me give you a little nugget here. Think about this. Many decisions that people make, they make them because of what they think someone else thinks.
Oh my goodness! Come on, talk about this.
Let me explain to you.
Yes.
You don't know what anybody's motivations are. They may not know what their motivations are. So if you're going to make your decision based on what you think they are thinking, they didn't tell you. Nobody else told you. You just assume based on their actions.
Most of the time, it's assumption.
You can't know. You cannot know someone's motive or someone's intent. So when you begin to make decisions that impact you when they weren't thinking about you, you really showed them, didn't you?
Man, that's good stuff. See, this is why I need the book and some coaching. So I need you to explain a couple of things. Explain the coaching process. So I think there's people in the community that think coaching is for the elite, right? They think counseling is for somebody else. They think this is for somebody else. Break this down. Why does somebody, even like me, need to hire and pay the price, whatever it is, for the coach like you?
Simply this. I ask this question. Are you where you want to be? Have you maxed out? Are you there?
No.
Why not?
No.
I mean, you know everything. You know what you need to do, right? Right?
I think.
You have a plan.
I think.
You have a strategy.
Yes, but it hadn't worked out so far.
Why not?
It's only got me to where I'm at.
Why not?
I don't know.
So as a coach, my job is to help you get from where you are to where you want to be.
And I have to be able to describe in some detail.
A good coach will help you.
Where it is I want to be.
See, sometimes a coach has to help you, because What I found about, if you think about it, the people that have coaches are high capacity leaders who have a lot of revenue and things of that nature, but people like that have a lot of things going on. So you have to have someone who can sort it out. See, most people who are extremely talented can do many things and do many things well, but you can't do many things well and do anything great.
That's right.
So you have to make a decision. So a coach is going to help you. So I ask my clients, what do I do for you? They said, you help us in 3 ways. What do you, and this is, I didn't ask them at the same time, and this is the answer. You help us with decision making, and so we read a book on what we do, processes and systems, and then you help us with accountability. It's kind of like a trainer. When I go to my physical trainer, I'm not hurting myself. If I get to my last rep and I feel like it's my last rep, I'm going to stop. Why would I go any further? Well, because my trainer knows the result that I want, and they know something about me that I don't know. So they push me, they lead me, they motivate me, give me one more, I'm not stopping. And since I pay them to do that, I'm going to do what they suggest because I'm not wasting my money. But then I get the desired result. But someone else can help me get over that hump. They can help me get to that next level. So a coach is going to move you from where you are to where you want to be. And like you said, step one is to define where you want to be. Right.
So the thing about, and so I'm like on a smaller level, mentoring to coaching. And you know I've done a lot of mentoring. What I find out is in those early meetings with a young man, and it isn't always a teenager, I'm saying this is younger than me, say, I want to be mentored by you. Okay, cool. And we start talking very early on about where it is they want to be, what is it you want to achieve, what does success look like for you, all this stuff. And they can clearly, a lot of times, tell me the what. But then next week comes, and we start talking about the how.
The how is not intuitive, sir.
The how gets in the way of the what really, really quick.
Yeah, I'm not, you mean I gotta go to school how long? Exactly. But see, mentoring, when you think about mentoring, if I want to excel in law enforcement as a minority in Oklahoma City, and I'm a young man, you're a mentor. Why? Because you've been the way. You can show me the way. A coach is not necessarily going where you've been, where you're going, but they can coach you because they help you to identify the why and the how, and they are equally significant. If I have no why bigger than myself, I'll never do what I need to do. Do you recall you asked me a couple questions early on, and you asked me about my family, and I almost melted out of the chair? Yeah. Because that's it for me.
That's it.
How do you live on that little bit of sleep? Sleep gets in the way of me taking care of them. So I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna go. I love preaching. I don't like it, I love it. I preach twice every Sunday and 3 times on Wednesday. And let's go. That's what but am I where I want to be? No, I want more. And so what is that? And so one of my signatures for my coaching program is I don't want you to be the top professional and a horrible husband. I want you to have success in every area of your life.
That's deep.
Yeah,
that's good.
I'm gonna take you all the way around. You don't get to read your press clippings with me.
Right.
I'm not good for your ego unless you want your ego brought down. I'm gonna help you get to where you, because if we knew how to really do it, it'd already be done.
That's right. Absolutely. Tell me what success looks like. If you're the coach, do I tell you when you've been successful? How do you know what does success look like for you as the coach, as the teacher? What does success look like?
Oh man, you're gonna get me. So imagine we're sitting here and there's a 8K screen and it's your life. I had the privilege of touching your life and watching it happen. See, success is measurable based on the parameters you set. So we're not competing against anyone. Leadership is not a competition sport. Leadership, I'm my competition.
Right.
So when I get, you're gonna tell me what you want to do, and I'm gonna make sure that if you tell me you want to do it, say for instance you say, New Year's coming up, I'm gonna exercise more. Well, I've not learned how to count more. I can't quantify more. So I'm gonna say, what do you mean more? Well, at least one day a week. At least one day a week. And your goal is what? Well, I'd like to lose 20 pounds. One day a week ain't gonna cut it. So let's talk about it. So I'm gonna get
your how is getting away in the way of what, right?
Do you plan to stop eating, or is there something else?
Right.
So I'm gonna give you everything that you do. You're going to establish your own working, measurable goals. We're gonna check them off. See, one of the things that I'm gonna teach you in the book that is amazing is people don't go back and look at the other side of the decision. Go back and look at the other side of the decision. After you made it, did it work, did it not work? What can I learn from it? What can I change as a result? We forget that part. When we get the critical decision made, we're like, finally. When it's, you don't think about making the car payment. You're trying to get the deal done. You get the deal done, now you go home, you gotta wait a minute. This is a Mercedes, I gotta spend X number of dollars just for a 5,000 mile service. That's part of your decision making before you get in that pretty new car. Everybody's like, ooh, that you can't pay for.
Right. Yep, that's good. So I really want to, how do we get the book?
Okay.
How do we follow you? How do we give us? I feel like a lot of people want to sign up for coaching now. I don't know if you have what kind of capacity you have.
I've got
you
it.
got you got a church you leading over there. It better be all them services you just said. You got to follow through on all of that now.
No, they're first.
Okay.
I do that first.
I just want to make sure before we give out all this stuff. I don't want to fill up your capacity.
No, I know it's fine. So I've got a great opportunity. So let's talk about how to find me as Rodney R. Payne. RodneyRPayne.com. RodneyRPayne.com, and that's my website. You can get the book there, pre-order it. We're expecting books mid-January, so you can go ahead and pre-order it now. And what I'm going to do, you want coaching, I'm going to give you coaching just for buying the book. If you buy the book today, you pre-order it, I'm doing a webinar live on January the 5th. That information is there when you purchase the book today. We're going to do an hour live webinar. I'm going to talk about the book, teach you processes, and do Q&A on that day. That's step one. That's how you find me. So that's my social media. That's on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and TikTok. I think that's
TikTok.
All. Yeah.
Well, you were in on TikTok.
Yeah,
that's right.
So that's how you find me. If you have information about coaching, you can, again, through any of those channels, message me. We'll talk about it. Because I'm on your, if I get 5 people tonight who are interested, the first 5, you got to let me know. The first 5 who say I'm interested in a coaching program, I'm going to give you 1 session free.
Ooh.
That's going to be about a 45 minutes, an hour session. I'm going to give you just to see if I can help you and if I'm a good fit for you. If you're interested, I'm going to give away 5. It's the first 5. It better be time stamped. Don't say I meant to.
I'm going to retweet that whole offer tonight.
And then I'm going live. I'm doing a live Thursday at 7, and on that live, I'm going to give away some books.
Okay.
The new book.
The new book.
So there are some stipulations. So the post even may be up already. But check my social media, follow me, turn your notifications on, and then you can see how to be a part of this. But I'm going to give away 5 free. See if you're interested in coaching sessions. And my commitment is if you spend 45 minutes with me, I'm going to help you in that 45 minutes, whether you hire me or not. That's my commitment.
Very good.
I'm going to do that.
Very, very good.
And can I tell them one more thing?
You can yes.
One more thing. I'm on episode 148 of
That's
my podcast.
right, the podcast.
Yeah, 148, I think.
One voice.
Oh, yeah. Speaking with one voice.
Speaking with one voice.
Yeah. Speaking with one voice. I am your host, the coach, Rodney Payne. I'm on iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, Google Play, everywhere. Anywhere you get your podcast. If you want free, I'm gonna say it again, free coaching. There are 148 episodes. They last about 20 to 22 minutes.
Car drive to work.
Doesn't cost you a dime to listen. If you want to be better, there are ways to get better. I'm always going to give you something. That's what I do. I'm going to always help you because I love adding value to people. Well, why would I pay for coaching? If you get on the call with me, you'll see there's a difference. Because when I'm talking in general, I'm talking to the world. When I'm in your business, I'm talking to you. So don't treat coaching like you treat church, right? Go to the General Assembly so I don't get called out. See, coach and get in your business.
Yeah.
So one-to-one coaching, but I just want to help you. So there are many things out there that we can do. And again, Rodney R. Payne is where you find me, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, and we have a brand new YouTube channel. So please go subscribe. Please, please, please. I mean, it's brand new, and we're going to house our content there. We've got some things up now. We're going to be adding a lot more to that. And again, this is to source you, to give you resources. That's what we're trying to do.
I love everything you do. I love what you mean to this community. And man, we haven't even talked about how you support the community and the Breaking Bread events that I sometimes MC and kind of help organize, the powerful stuff and things that you said, and how you embody relationships. Relationships means a lot to me, means a lot to people in the organizations that I work with, that we can always call you and get some information about how we ought to proceed with things. I love being able to have you as a sounding board. So I'm co-signing all of that stuff, and I'm going to work when this camera's off on about getting me 55 minutes of coaching.
I got you. I got you. I'll show you how to do it. Listen, but this Breaking Bread thing, we don't need to gloss over that, really.
Yeah.
We're talking about having critical conversations in communities where we're just not the same. And the one thing I can tell you is you have to listen intentionally. Can you love a culture when you don't know their pain? And that conversation started so many things for me. And so I like to be involved where we make a difference, because I know you don't. I heard my daughter speak. My daughter's a wonderful speaker, by the way. And she gave this story, and I've heard it a million times, but the way she told it, Daddy's big girl, it worked for me. The man walking on the seashore, throwing starfish, throwing them back in.
Yeah.
Man, stop, what are you doing? I'm throwing starfish back in. You can't save all these. No, but I saved that one. If we will just take the time to have that conversation. Why do I work with listen, when I've had trouble and needed help, they took my call. When I didn't feel like my family was safe near my church in a real life incident, I made a phone call. They sent somebody to get me out of the place safely. Because I mean, one conversation makes a difference if you listen without an agenda. You have to listen.
Yeah.
Everybody has a struggle, not just you.
Yeah. I appreciate you always answering the phone when I call, and every time I call, I have a ask.
Yeah, you don't really call and say what's up.
No,
I mean, you say what's up, but
yeah. I tell people all the time, I said, when you're my friend, I call my friends.
But when I had trouble, I had no problem.
Yeah.
No problem. I need you to come over to this church, talk to people. But that's what we do. I mean, but it makes a difference. And man, I applaud you for what you're doing and your service and your work. And we've been doing this a long time. It didn't seem like that long.
It didn't when we start talking.
Yeah,
man,
it didn't seem like that
back.
long. But because it seemed like we just always were close, and we had to meet at some point.
Somewhere, out of trying to line it out. Man, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming and doing this last minute. That's Conversations with Cubit. Go out and love somebody, period, with no strings attached. See y'all later.